Welcome to Ascension Parish Coffee Talk. My name is Kristina Smallhorn, your real estate whisperer for Ascension Parish. This week we're going to be talking to the people of Commerce Title. They're going to walk you through the process of a home closing. Since I'm a realtor here in the area, I thought it'd be great information since a lot of you have not seen how the new closings work. They're different from years before, and Ryan Fulgost and Walter Como were kind enough to meet with me. I know I'm saying Ryan's last name wrong, but he'll get it straight. You just watch the interview, he'll say his name correctly. And you'll get some great information, not only about the closings, but about our great parish of Ascension.
Good morning, Smallhorn.
Good morning.
How's it going?
Good.
How's it going?
Good. So this is Leslie Malafon, and she works here at Commerce Title. How long have you worked here?
I've been here almost 2 years, but I've been in this business as abstractor, closer, and now opener since 2003.
Awesome. Well, I'm just gonna go in and say hi to Ryan. I'm glad that you got to say hello. Say wave goodbye.
Bye. Hey, Smallhorn.
Morning, Erica.
Hey.
So we are here today.
Hey,
Jennifer. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. So I'm stopping in here because I wanted to know what you do for Commerce Title.
I am an escrow officer. I prepare all the documents that everyone loves to sign.
That's good.
Yeah.
And do you will they ever hear from you if their file comes in on your desk? Will you call them, or is that Leslie's job?
I call them. We kind of all take the calling duties. Usually you might not hear from me until we get down closer to the closing date.
All right, well, perfect. I just want to pop in and say hi.
Hey.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you today?
I'm good.
We're filming today.
Oh, what are you filming?
I'm filming a video for YouTube. It's called Ascension Parish Coffee Talk, and I meet people in the parish and businesses to talk about what's going on here in our parish and some great companies. And I just interview them, and they can just tell us about what they do.
Oh, okay.
So people from out of town can understand what our community has to offer.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So I'm going to leave you to Walter.
Okay. All right, Walter. You ready?
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. How are you today?
Good. I want to. I know I kind of caught you off guard.
Okay.
Did I get you nervous a little bit?
Not at all.
All right. Well, I was just coming in, just stopping by. Brought you guys some bagels, and just wanted to ask you what it is. Why did you decide to move here or work here in Ascension Parish? And I want to ask you if there's anything about loan closings in Ascension Parish that would be different than loan closings anywhere else.
Well, Ascension Parish has got to be the fastest growing area in the state.
Mm-hmm.
And probably one of the fastest growing in a multi-state area.
Mm-hmm.
Tremendous job creation here. There's an inventory for homes here because there's so much new construction that's not available in a lot of the other areas around.
Mm-hmm.
So this is just a pretty dynamic, robust economy here that's driving the housing market.
Mm-hmm. Is that why you chose to work here?
Well, there's another reason.
Oh.
Actually, nice people.
Yeah.
It really is. I
Yeah,
mean,
the people are here.
Yeah,
Nice.
it's
That's why I chose it.
it's I find the people here to be very engaging and personable and big. It's a pleasant place to work. A pleasant place to
Craziest
work.
description of a property you've heard
Oh,
of.
Mark, the description has been for the last over 100 years, from the gumball tree, perceived 500 feet, and they used the measurement of chains, not feet, and to a oak tree and a fence post, none of which are there. None were there anymore. They never changed the description.
Mm-hmm.
Never had a real survey done or map filed, so
Mm-hmm.
that's challenging and required to get a survey done, but that's not that frequent, but you do get them.
Mm-hmm.
Then you get descriptions that don't close. They give you 3 sides of a 4-dimensional piece of property and
You don't know where the rest of it's at.
goes on forever, I guess. 99.9% of all these closings are very pleasant transactions.
Yes, I agree.
Someone is buying a home they're anxious to buy, and there's a seller that's moving on to some other place and is happy to sell. It should be a happy occasion, and it usually is.
Yeah, I agree.
It usually is.
I agree.
So kind of that, all the work that goes in it, from the realtor's perspective and from the lender, everyone else, home inspectors, everyone involved in the transaction. It all culminates on that day of closing, and people are generally happy when they get here. So
I
it's
agree.
kind of pleasant.
Even realtors.
Even realtors, everyone
Yep.
is.
I actually am kind of always sad when it closes because then I don't get, you know, like
Yeah.
it's like it closes and you don't really see those people. You don't
That's
hear them
right.
on the phone all
That's
the
right.
time, and I
Yeah.
actually kind of miss my clients.
Well, you're right, it is. People moving on, you're not going to see again.
Yeah, for a while, you know. I'll
Well,
call
they-
them and stuff, but it's not like they call you to talk to you on a regular basis like they did during the time that they were purchasing
But
the home.
you got the nature of the economy is one that is just building on itself, and as opposed to those down years when people were moving away for jobs or whatever reason. But that's not the situation now, and probably won't be for a long, long time.
Well, even with the economic downturn in 2007, the houses were still selling.
Yeah, that's
You know, and after that, we never did fall out.
Yeah.
We
yeah.
always stayed. We got flat for a while,
Yeah.
but we still went right back up.
That's
Ticked
right.
again.
That's right.
And I don't think, you know, with the amount of industry we have here now, I just don't. We don't have a bubble. There's not one thing that's creating another. So I think
somewhat recession resistant.
not proof.
Not completely, just resistant.
It's
Yeah.
resistant. I agree.
So, I mean, the price of oil's down so far, and yet the economy is still booming.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's a real good.
And interest
litmus
rates are so
test.
crazy low.
Yeah.
So
That's it.
I appreciate you.
Well, good to see you.
Nice to see you too.
Thanks for stopping by.
No problem.
Bye-bye.
Bye. You still busy?
This is what we do in closing.
Is eat.
We eat bagels, we drink coffee.
When I stopped by was I just wanted to
Wait,
ask,
you didn't come just to bring the bagels?
No, that was a bribe so I could get you to interview. I wanted to know what buyers and sellers should expect during a closing, because a lot of people, they think, you know, all you do is go in there and you just sign some papers, you know, the lawyer just says sign here, and that's all the title office does. So I thought it would be for people to understand a little bit more about the closing process, what it is
Right.
exactly a title company does. And I just want to start with the first question. What should a buyer and seller expect when they show up for their closing? What's the first thing they should expect?
Well, you know, they show up at the closing, but let's go back maybe 2-3 weeks before that.
Perfect.
You know, in behind the scenes, we're doing all the work. We're making sure that seller has clean title to that property.
And what does that mean? Clean title?
There's no liens, there's no mortgages, there's no other encumbrances that may take priority over buyer's new mortgage, assuming there's a lender involved. There's no judgments. That's another lien that can affect ownership to a property, in the sense that if seller is selling a piece of property and there's a judgment that's been filed in the public records, that judgment creates a judicial mortgage, just like any other mortgage, on that piece of property. So what we do, whether it's a conventional mortgage that the seller has, you know, been paying for 10 years to a lender, or whether it's a judicial mortgage, HOA lien for failure to pay homeowners association assessments, we'll make sure that those liens and encumbrances are satisfied before we pass the sales of the property to the buyer.
Right.
So that's what you call, when we take care of all that, that's called curative work. We make sure that title is free and clear. So that's happening behind the scenes. We're also working with a buyer's lender throughout the process to make sure all the numbers are right. And which is very important, because a day or two before closing, we're contacting the buyers to let them know exactly, you know, how much money they need to bring to their closing, if any at all. Sometimes you know, no closing funds are required. So that's very important. So curative work, if needed, working with the lender to make sure everyone is aware of the numbers, how the numbers are going to affect the buyer's bottom line at the closing. That's lender fees, that's our fees, that's recording fees.
Doesn't some title work, don't you have to make sure they're either married or not married?
That's we confirm all of that. We get all the buyer's information, married or single, all their names, any other aliases, maiden names, middle names. you name it. We verify their identity, we get their address, we get their social security number. So when you get close to closing, we'll get a clear to close from a lender. And I'm assuming lenders are involved for the sake of this conversation, because 90% of the closings we do, we're dealing with lenders. Excuse me. So we'll contact buyers, we'll contact sellers, we'll contact any real estate agents. We'll schedule the closing, find a time that works for everyone. Everyone will show up. And due to confidentiality rules and laws, we take the position that we're going to separate buyers and sellers at the closing, or a bifurcated closing, just for the sake of privacy for the buyer, to allow them to sign their loan documents without anyone else present in the room.
And it didn't used to be that way, right?
Not used to be that way. That went into effect, I think, October of 2015.
Yeah.
Consumer financial protection laws say that due to confidentiality rules, when those loan documents are being signed, and those loan documents contain confidential information,
It makes
address,
sense.
social security numbers, you name it. So we'll bring the buyers into the room first, which we're in our main conference room here. And they'll sign all their documents, their loan documents. We'll have them sign the sale. And when they're done, we'll go out, get the seller, bring them in the room, and they sign their papers. Hopefully they take advantage of our coffee and our cookies and our candy while they're waiting. And
Only if you have Milky Way Midnights.
that's Milky Way Midnights. We need to reload those.
One thing I did want to ask, because you did talk about could be some problems with title work, and there's always human error in title process.
Absolutely.
Most closings are closed with people that buy title insurance,
Right.
but sometimes people choose to opt out of it. Why would you say that's not a good idea to opt out of title insurance?
Well, it's just like any other insurance in a sense that you may never use it. And I'll be, honest, most people will never use their title insurance, but for that one time, even if it, the small percentage of claims that are actually made, that one-time premium, so it's not like any other insurance. It's not like, your car insurance, which you renew every 6 months or every year. It's not like your homeowner's insurance, which you're having to pay a premium every year. Title insurance is a one-time premium that's paid at the closing. It's based on the purchase price of the home.
So like a $200,000 house, how much would a title insurance run around there? Guesstimate.
$800,000. Maybe not that much. $800, say. So it's worth the peace of mind.
Right, $800 a piece of mind.
That's right.
For an investment that you made for $200,000
That's exactly
that you're
right.
going to have for, let's say, 30 years.
That's right. So, and
It becomes down to pennies after 30
and you
years.
make a good point when you say 30 years. Let's say 20 years from now, the buyer owns the property and someone makes a claim saying, no, you don't, I have ownership in that piece of property you bought way back when. They can sue the buyer and say,
Now owner.
You owe me at least my share here. And what title insurance does, not only will it pay out any claims that are made, but in the event the buyer is sued, that's going to pay attorney's fees, that's going to pay court costs. Just
How what's the limit on there? How much does that cover? Like, say you buy title insurance, that $800 for your $200,000 investment. Is there a limit?
Purchase price of the home, so you're covered up to that.
Okay.
And if a lender, there's also lenders or loan title policy, loan policy. That's going to protect the lender up to their loan amount. So that's the amount of coverage you have on.
Is it something you should renew? Like if you so somebody buys a house and it was $200,000 20 years ago, and they are about to they're about to pay off their mortgage. Should they re-buy the title insurance to up it? So, because what if the house is worth more at that time?
Well, you can, and there's a certain reissue rates that are offered by the title insurance companies. So if you're looking at a situation where refinance is a very good example of that. When people come in to refinance, they get a reissue rate on their loan policy at least. So yeah, there's a difference there that you can just pay the reissue rate. I want X amount of coverage now
So you can up
versus
it.
what I had before.
Right.
So,
Okay, good. So typically, how long does a closing last?
we try to make them smooth and quickly as possible, but typically 45 minutes to an hour. Some loan packages are much more voluminous than others.
That's a big word.
Thicker, just
Okay.
thickness of documents. But for the most part, 45 minutes to an hour. After papers are signed, has the closing attorney will make copies of the documents for the buyers, sellers, and their real estate agents. And we're also, sometimes we're waiting on funding from the lender. Most of the time, we do have the funds in our escrow account even before the closing, which is nice because I can go back there, make copies, have our closers print checks because the seller's going to leave with a check, the real estate agents are going to leave with a check. So we take care of all that. I'd say typically about an hour, you can say, for a closing.
I was able to stop in and talk to Walter for a few minutes before you got here.
Who's Walter?
The big man on campus. And I asked him, is there closings in Ascension Parish? Do you believe that they differ in any way in any other parish? He gave me an example of how it could differ. Do you feel like there's any difference in closings here in Ascension Parish?
I just think the people are a lot nicer here.
That's exactly what he said.
Yeah. Everything. I mean, you've been in my closings before. We keep it loose. We joke around.
Right. It's a serious situation.
It's a very serious situation.
Right, but
the reason I do that
it's
is
joyous.
because it is joyous, and sometimes those buyers are really nervous, especially first-time home buyers. They don't know what to expect. So we kind of like to ease the mood and say, look, this is serious. You're buying a home. Congratulations. But guess what? It doesn't have to be stressful.
Right. Let the
You're
stress
here.
go.
You're here. All
You
the
made it.
stressful parts, we took care of all that. You've been through that. I'm sure the buyer's been on the phone, 100 times in the last 2-3 weeks, either with us or their lender or their agent. So now we're here at the table. Let's have fun, and let's get the keys in your hand. You go start moving. That's when the real fun stress begins, right?
Right.
So,
well, I told Walter, and
yeah.
I still feel this way. For me, the closings are actually kind of a sad thing because I'm so used to them.
Because you've been working with
them and everything, and then like they become my friends. So it's like what happened?
Well, it's
Are
kinda
we,
like they're
are we breaking up?
It's kind of they're graduating though. You've kind of held their hand and got them through the process. Now they're graduating.
I know, but they don't call me. They don't need me like they used to. I like the feeling of being needed.
I get it.
I get it. Well, I appreciate your time. I'm glad I had to bribe you with some bagels and.
You can bribe me with bagels anytime.
And I'll let you get back to your day. Thanks.
Thank you, Kristina.
No problem.
Bye.
I just wanted to say thank you so much to Commerce Title for allowing me to come visit them today. Brian Felgo and Walter Como were kind enough to speak with me and give you some really great information. Next week, we're probably going to be visiting with a new soap place that has opened up. It's called Fresh, spelled Phresh, and they have some great fresh cut soaps and bath bombs, and your teenage girls love that kind of stuff. They were at the mall of Louisiana, but they actually just opened a store right here in Ascension Parish. So it's just right up the road, very convenient, great for gifts for your teenage daughters and their birthday parties that they all seem to go to. So we'll be interviewing them next week, and I look forward for you guys to see that interview. It should be really good. Thanks so much, and we'll talk to you soon. If you'd like more information about some home buying needs, you can always visit my website at yourrealestatewhisperer.com. God, the smile at the end was really necessary.